back to part 7 of my milling machine build. If you missed seeing part 6, there's a link up there at the moment. I'd like to welcome all of my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. In the last episode I had a crack at lost foam casting and aluminium pulley, and to say the least it was a dismal failure. So I'm going to have another crack at it, so follow me up to the backyard and we'll see how we go this time. Alrighty, so I've just dumped the bucket out into the basin. Now it's had time to cool, so it's kind of the moment of truth. We'll see what I get. Oi, kind of looks alright. Oh, I think we have a winner. Time to cool it down. Still pretty damn hot. Can you see that? I don't think you can see that. We have a winner. You little ripper. Thought I'd show you this stuff. This is the dross, the crap that comes out of metal when you melt it. This, plus a bit more still lying on the ground at the back in little pieces, is what I got from all the aluminium cans in the swarf, and I only got half a crucible worth of metal. This is what I got from melting the good stuff, plus a bit of that rubbish from this one, and I got a full crucible. Huge difference. So take old Foundryman's word for it and don't use aluminium cans and swarf, because it's just bloody rubbish. Well, there she is, viewers. It's truly astounding how much detail you get in these things. You can see all the little pores and the little beads in the foam and all the rest of it. This stuff on the bottom here had a lot of sort of holes in it, so I went round and I filled it up with some hot glue. So that seems to have worked. I've got another idea. Some of that pre-mixed polyfiller stuff I think would burn away, so next time I think I'll buy a pack of that and like fill it, give it a light sanding, which will should get rid of all that rubbish. This is a piece of the first one, and it didn't like being cut by the saw. You can see the stuff on here, so I don't think it would have machined very well, and I was a bit loath to actually add this into the mix, but because most of the material that's gone into this is stuff I've either machined or was cast before, like that slave cylinder from the Triton. Anyway, I'll cut this sprue off, we'll get in the lathe and machine it up. Well, I've taken a skim off a few skims off the face here, just so that when I turn it around I can put it back in, it'll have something fairly flat to sit up against, because it wobbles a fair bit this way. So I'll get that out of there, swap the jaws around and turn it around and machine the front end of it first, and we'll come back to the back end after we're all done there. Well, as per usual, I have no drawings, no plans, so I'll just be winging it and wandering over to the mill and taking measurements as I go with this. So far this stuff machines pretty well, so still got a couple of little inclusions in there, but I might have to machine a whole lot more off that face yet. Well, I've got a long way to go on this, so I'll bring you back later. Alrighty, so I've machined it up to what I think I want. There's a few inclusions I can't get out of it, I don't want to go any further with it. There's a couple in this face here, but I can't make this any smaller, I'll run out of thickness for some rub screws to clamp along with. So now I'll drill it out, and then I'll have to bore it. This line here has to be parted off there when I'm done, but I'll drill it first and then part it off. I've run out of WD-40. I should have gone down the road and got some, but I'll just use some oil instead. Alright, so I need to bore that to 19mm now, but I'll part this bit off the front first. Save myself some boring, I'll only bore down to about here, and then in the back of this I'll use the 19mm drill. It won't matter if it cuts a bit oversized, because it won't matter. Alrighty, I'll get on with that. One end up oversized. That's 18.97, and I don't know that I want to make another pass up there. I might just try and polish that out with a bit of sandpaper. Alrighty, so next cab off the rank. I've got to turn the OD of this down to something that's about right, because I think I've underestimated the belt length. It might be a bit short, because if at that point there I'm not going to get a 19mm pulley in there. At the moment that's 105mm. I'm hoping that down around 95. I wanted to do it at 100, but I'm hoping at 95 I'll get enough room for the other belt, the other pulley over the side here. And I've also got to bore the inside out to just a bit over 75, maybe 78, something like that. So it's got clearance over the top of the bearing housing up on the top of the milling head. So we'll get on with that. Once I've turned that down, I'm going to have to put the grooves in it, and I've ground this tool up. It's a piece of 5/16 round. I found all the dimensions required online to mark this out, so we'll get it all turned down and then I'll mark it out, and we'll attempt to cut some grooves in it with this. Something else that I didn't mention, I also have to bore up inside this part here, bore that out to about 50mm to allow for that clamping section, the shaft clamp up on the top as well. But all this will take quite a while, I'll bring you back a little later. Righty, quick progress report. I was boring away in the centre here and I kept thinking, why does it look so deep? And it suddenly occurred to me I had to knock 10mm off the face of this. So I abandoned that. I've come out and I've taken 10mm off the face, and I've reduced this now to 95mm, and this belt length should be perfect now, so looks like I got that right. Anyway, I'll get on, keep machining this up. I'll get back to you. Well, that's it for the inside of all of that. I've still got a few inclusions here, but I'm a little worried that this area just here has gotten a little thin. And I don't really want to take any more out of it because I don't want to break it off. But there's plenty of meat up here where these inclusions are, and you know, once it's on the mill you won't get to see it anyway. So that's that for the inside, and it hasn't quite worked out the way I had it in my head. I might end up having to machine a bit off the top there where it just sits over the shaft. But anyway, that doesn't matter, I'll do that later. So now I've got to mark all the outside up here and machine those grooves in it. But I've got to head into town for a little while, so I'll do that when I get back after lunch. Alrighty, so these are the drawings I found online, and the specs are just astounding. This is a type J, so the width of these grooves is only 2.34 millimeters. It's an odd sort of size, and the depth is 2.21, so I don't know whether these equate to an imperial size or not, but they're weird. Now, there's going to be absolutely nothing scientific about the way I do this, because I have no micrometer dial on my Z-axis. So I've worked out I want to have a 3mm flat out on the edge here. So I've worked out the bottom point of each of the 5 V's and worked out what the measurement will be from the edge in, and I'll just use my digital vernier. I do have a scribe, a proper scriber, but working out these odd numbers would be a nightmare. Much easier to do it with the vernier. So that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty, so there are my marks. So I'll set the tool up now and we'll see how we go. A bit of WD-40 made it stick more on the end. Unbelievable. See what it looks like. Oh, surprisingly, it looks pretty bloody good. Yeah, that'll grip. You beauty. Looks like we might have had a win. Well, I don't really know why I was worried about the belt not being long enough. This is about where I want the motor to lock up, about there, and it's loose as buggery. So I'll have to set up an idler bearing in here. But that's not a bad thing, because it'll make the belt wrap around the pulleys more and make them drive more positively. So that's not a bad thing. And I can just set that fixed. I don't need to make that adjustable because I have adjustment up in here. So I'll just figure out just where to drill and set that bolt in there, put a bolt through it and just bolt it straight to this. And on another note, it really needs about 7mm taken off the top of this, but I put a washer under there, and when I was tightening it up I felt it give a little bit, and all that play I had in here is now gone. So I've managed to pull it out with that. So when I pull all this off again, I'll get in there and nip that little clamp ring right up tight and know that it's pretty much where it needs to be. And I don't need those 2 adjusting screws on top, because I can use that to adjust it up. And you'll see 3 centre punch marks here. I'm going to drill that and put 3 grub screws in around here, so that'll lock that onto the shaft nice and tight. So when I lock this down, hopefully this won't have any effect on the bearings. So winner winner, chicken dinner. Alrighty, so while you guys weren't looking, I went out and I bought some electrical cabinet here, and I've been gathering everything to do this for a while, and it's time to get it all fitted up. You know, these things are blunt ones, they have trouble chewing through plastic. This was a weird one here. When I was cutting these out, I just drilled some holes and used the jigsaw. The jigsaw was melting it, so as I was cutting it, it was re-gluing itself back together. What a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'll get this one fitted up in here. Wait, next one up. That's going to fit in there. Beautiful. I think the crap clean off the back. Anyway, so I'll get myself all set up and then I'll come back. Well viewers, I had every intention of videoing a lot of this, but glad I didn't, because it's now 3 in the afternoon, if you can see that. And I started this at 11 o'clock this morning, so that's 4 hours it's taken me to wire this up. Bloody nightmare really. But anyway, what we got in there is this little unit in here is just a little transformer. It's from 220 AC to 24 volt DC. I do have some, well, I had some 12 volt ones, but I can't find them. But this black wire here is the lead coming in from the tachometer. That's the there it is there, and it will run on anything from about 5 volts, I think, up till 24 volts. So it'll be, it's just 10 to 30 in there, so should be okay. This is just an LED light to indicate that the power's on. That is the emergency stop switch, and I haven't actually put an on-off switch in it because there's an on-off switch built into this box here, and the only thing we're really powering is the motor anyway, and this little transformer. And this is the speed controller, so it's the thing that takes the most time wiring up, and that's the forward and reverse switch. I'm hoping I've got it all right, but anyway, I'll take it over and I'll fit it all up and plug it in and see if I've got it right or not. Right, so also while you weren't looking, I've drilled and tapped this, put these grub screws in here. I've also machined a little recess to embed the magnet for the tacho. Made this bracket for the tacho and fitted that. I've welded 2 more brackets onto here, and that's where the electrical box will go up in there. And I've added this little tab on here because I haven't got around to doing it yet, but I desperately need to make some counterweights for this, because trying to lift it is just unbelievable. Well, it goes up there okay like that, but by the time I add the motor and everything else onto it, it gets really heavy and hard to wind. So I need to put that up there. But anyway, so I'll bring that, fetch that box over here and we'll fit it up. Damn thing comes when it starts hammering, it undoes itself. It falls out all the time. Bloody nuisance. There's that longer screw I just got. Magnetic, everything's all scraps sticking all over it. Where's my earth lead? There it is. One more screw. All right. Pretty neat fit in there, all of this stuff. So I did try it over on the bench to make sure it was all going to fit. Some bits that need to get the hell out of the way to make it all fit. Right, there it is. viewers, and I'll stop videoing for a moment and I'll fit all the motor up and everything. I've got to get over the back here and hook up all of the wires to the Jesus, pulled back inside to the motor. So I'll pull that off, get those wires back out. I'll come back to you after I get the motor fitted up. Well, there it is, all fitted up, folks. If you've enjoyed this video up until this point, how about smashing that like button and giving it a great big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, think about subscribing. And I'll get on with the rest of this now. Well, there we have it, viewers. Ticking away magnificently. There is some adjustment in the side of this. We're not going to adjust the top end and the bottom end. This switch is asked about at the moment. I'll have to play around with the wiring on that. But flat out a bit over 2,000, but that, like I said, that can be adjusted. Bottom bearings get a little warm. I was hoping to get a cover made for here today too, but I might get that made tomorrow. Anyway, I'm pretty happy I've gotten this far with it this week.